All right, in this episode, I want to talk about how to be socially confident at parties. This is something that I struggled with until literally about the age of 24, which is like a year ago. Um, I didn't figure this one out until Buddhism. Buddhism fixed parties for me. Now I have a great time at parties. I'm not nervous. It's fun. It flows. It's a good time. Um, I have always been drawn to parties. I love getting into the sauce of a party and socializing and meeting people and having a good time. But through high school and even through all of college, I was always incredibly self-conscious at parties, worried about if I was being awkward or not, worried about whether or not people liked me. Just super self-conscious and socially anxious, and my spiritual journey has given me a really good perspective on this, and it's given me like a practical way to not really give a fuck and just enjoy myself. So I want to share this perspective with you. And also, just as a note, I'm going to be talking about parties specifically because this is something I really struggled with growing up, but this tip and this wisdom really applies to any social situation. It applies to dating. It applies to hanging out with friends, hanging out with new friends, old friends, any social situation, really. This is a great mindset, in my opinion. It's helped me a lot. And I know we're all different, socially. Some of us are introverts or extroverts or somewhere on that spectrum. And it's different for all of us, but this is just the mindset that's worked for me. So if we're socially similar, I'm kind of like I feel like I'm on the shyer end. Like I'm a shy person. It takes me a while to warm up to people sometimes. In larger social groups, it can be hard for me to integrate. I'll just be like, leaning quiet. But while all that is happening, it's like, I really want to get in there. I really want to meet people. I take some time and I have trouble with it and I'm slower. And, this is the predicament that made parties so difficult for me growing up, because I would be sitting there in the party beating myself up over how shy I was feeling, and I would just get into my head that everyone could tell how awkward I am. Nobody likes me. I was so worried about being that creepy guy standing in the corner not talking to anybody. So, okay, how did I look at parties back in high school and college? I looked at them as a performance in a way. I felt like I needed to perform in a certain way in order to get the approval of others. In a sense, I was people pleasing. I wasn't thinking about my own enjoyment. I was just thinking about getting other people to like me, which is just a recipe for social anxiety. If you're worried about whether other people are going to like you, you're going to start performing in a way that you think is acceptable to them, and that is just not the way to do it, because then you're not just being like you should just be able to be yourself and relax and have a good time. Parties are for you to have a good time, so you shouldn't be really overly fixated on what other people are thinking of you. Okay, so let me get right into my new perspective on going to a party. So the first big lesson is that you need to release your expectation of how the party is going to go. So back in the day, as I was, approaching a party, I would walk in with these grand expectations that I was going to have the best time. I was hoping that people were going to like me, that I was going to make new friends, that I would meet a girl or whatever. I just had all these expectations, and when I got to that party, I would do everything I could to try to make sure that outcome came true. This is where my social anxiety came in, because I'm shy. I was trying to fight against my shyness so intensely that I would just dig myself into a hole of overthinking about whether I was being social enough. If you release your attachment to a positive outcome, even a positive social outcome, just like let it go. Like when you're walking into a party, like it could be bad, it could be good, it could be somewhere in the middle. You could meet people, or you might leave after 20 minutes. If you just open yourself to that whole spectrum of how the party or the social situation may go, already you're going to be more at ease, because there's less of a reason to perform. There's less of a reason to please people. there's more of a reason to just go in and have the experience. And so releasing the expectation, the attachment to a positive outcome already is going to ease your social anxiety, or at least it has for me. Okay, and then I've touched on this already, but you need to get over the mindset of people pleasing. So like I said back in the day, I was hyper fixated on making people like me at parties. I wanted to be liked. I wanted to converse well. I wanted people to think I was fun to be around, etc. But the thing is, it's like everyone is so unique, and when a bunch of unique people come together into a party, it really does create an unpredictable flow of energy. And that's exactly what a party is. It is this flow of energy. And if you go in there trying to make people like you, like trying to direct the energy upon you and wanting everyone to like you, you're trying to force a natural process. And I think it's this going against the flow that created a lot of the social anxiety for me. But when you stop people pleasing, when you literally don't care if the people at the party like you, then you can just go in and just be. And what's really beautiful about this is when you just go and you are you and you just accept your own energy for what it is, you're probably going to find the people that you're meant to find in that party. And if those people aren't there, you've already released your expectation that the party's going to go a certain way. So it doesn't even matter if you don't find your people. Obviously, go in there, give it a try. Don't just give up after 5 minutes, but you don't have to force everyone to like you. Like if you approach a group of people and the energy is just not really working, the cool thing about a party is you don't even got to say anything. You can just turn around and walk away. You could be going to get a drink. It doesn't really matter. And then, and then you can try a new group of people. And the thing is, when you stop fixating so much about making specific people like you, you have more room to find your people. Then, okay, another really important thing, and this is one of the key things for me, is that contrary to what you may think, it's actually very, very okay to be alone in a party setting. You can stand against the wall drinking your beer, not talking to anyone. You can take a moment to just people watch and observe the party and look at all that energy that's going around. I personally love doing that. I love, as much as I love being in the sauce of a party setting, I also love taking moments to withdraw and just take it all in. And I've always had this natural leaning in me to take moments to myself in a social setting. But back in the day when I was so focused on people pleasing and focusing so hard on making sure I was socializing enough and properly, I did not grant myself the moments that I wanted alone because I was worried they would make me look awkward. But what's cool about when you release people pleasing and just own your shit and own your energy is you actually can just stand alone, and it doesn't matter. And what's really, really, really cool that I've found in my experience, the more I gain the courage to do this, literally when I'm at a party and I feel the urge to take a moment to myself, I'm gaining more and more courage over time to just withdraw for a second and take that moment to myself. It's sometimes when I'm standing there alone, I begin to attract my people. I swear to God. More than half the time when I'm just standing there alone vibing, the other quieter people will start to come over to me and say what's up, and I'll get into really beautiful conversations on the sidelines of a party this way. It's if you're kind of the party is this grand mix of people, and if you're someone who likes the outskirts sometimes, go be on the outskirts and find your other outskirts people. That's how it works. It's this big harmony. You don't have to be in the middle. You don't have to be dancing. You don't have to be drinking. There is room for everyone to do their thing. And obviously I'm an adult now, and people are mature, and maybe in high school it's a little different. Like maybe people are judging you, but even if you're listening to this in high school, it's like if you have the confidence to fucking be yourself around a bunch of judgmental people, that is one of the greatest things you can do for yourself, because like you're going to break other people out of the illusion, like who are in the popular crowd and acting like they're judging everybody and cooler than everyone else. Like if you're relentlessly being yourself in front of them, like people are going to notice that and like be attracted to that. That's just kind of how it works in my head. I have no source besides my own experience, but it's like, yeah, when you actually listen to your inner leanings and your intuition during a party and you just do what feels right, whether that is approaching someone and trying to talk to them, or if it's being alone, or if it's just moving your body and not talking to anybody, or some hybrid. I mean, usually it's at a party, it's like, for me, it's a flow between all of the different things you can do in a party. But when you just listen, then you're in the flow. Then you're in that natural flow that I talked about. And there's really no reason to be socially anxious, because you've released your attachment to the outcome and how the party's going to go. It can go any way. It can suck. It can be good. It doesn't matter. Therefore, you can just flow. You're no longer worried about, and when you're flowing and when you're not worried about looking alone or being awkward, like just be awkward. Be awkward, It doesn't matter really. And if people don't like that, they can drift away and find someone else in the party. But like, you can take your space and just fully be yourself. And chances are, when you're owning your energy, you're going to literally energetically attract like people who fit your vibe. And this is all going to flow in the whole party. It's all going to flow. And then you're a part of it. And it's a beautiful thing. I love parties. Is this making any sense? I literally can never tell if this makes sense. That's kind of it. Those are the key things. And why do I consider that Buddhism is what showed me this? Really, it's non-attachment. It's non-attachment to how things go. When you're not attached to how things go, or whether a particular person likes you, that sets you free to just be. Because what else are you going to do? It's like when you realize it's not up to you to control every little thing and how it turns out. It's like, oh, you can relax. And when you relax and you don't care how it goes because you understand non-attachment and you believe in it, it's like, that's when social anxiety starts to dissipate, because there's no one to perform for. There's no outcome to perform for. There's no one to prove anything to. Then you can just go in with an open mind and have a good time. And this has helped me a lot. And what's cool about all this is that like, I know I'm telling you to like be open to the outcome that the party sucks, and even be open to the outcome that you were awkward the whole time and made no friends. Like, I know I'm saying that, but I also know that I want to get into the sauce. I want to meet a lot of people. I want to dance and have a good time. I'm assuming you do too, and it's okay to want that, but wanting something is different from attaching to it. You can want it, but you can release your attachment to it. And when you do that, that's the law of attraction, and that's the greatest paradox of the universe, is that when you let go, you're more likely to get the thing that you want. So when you let go, you're more likely to just have a amazing time at whatever party it is. The last thing I want to suggest, and this is something that I did recently for the first time in my life at 25, yes, is go to a party completely by yourself. This is something I could have never fathomed doing when I was younger. But the way it works for me is when I go to a party with my friends, that's a beautiful experience in itself. It's so fun going to a party with your friends. But in my experience, it's harder to approach and meet new people when you have your friends to kind of default to. You have that comfortable space, so it's like there's less motivation to break out of your shell and meet new people. But and I experienced this recently. I sometimes, because I have a lot of followers, I guess I end up on like email lists for like influencer agencies, and I got invited to this party, and I had a +1, but I decided to just go alone because, one, I just wanted to have that experience for myself, and I'm proud of myself for doing that. But two, it's like, yeah, when you go alone and you have no one to rely on, it's like how long are you going to stand against the wall not talking to anybody? Like at a certain point, if you don't have your friends to fall back on, you're going to just walk up to someone and say hello. And that's really all it is. I mean, that's literally how I meet new people at a party. I just walk up to them, stick my hand out and say, "Hey, I'm George." And then you just see how the energy goes and how the conversation goes. And when it dies out, or if you're not feeling it, you just say, "Hey, I'm going to grab another drink," or "I'm going to go to the bathroom." And then you do it again with some other people. And then before you know it, you're a part of the whole dance of the party. And some nice music. I like that. I love how we're all doing creative shit in Bushwick. I don't know who's playing that. Maybe my neighbor's playing like some sort of wind instrument, and it's very beautiful. And I'm recording a podcast, and it's, I'm just so happy. And there's a tree. Look at this. Just in this creative neighborhood, and everyone's trying their fucking best, and it's really beautiful. I'm very happy that I'm here. And I'm trying my best, I'm trying my damn best. And I'm proud of myself for that. Yeah, and so at least just with the way I am socially, this is easier for me if I'm completely alone at the party. And what I'm kind of anticipating is if I practice that enough, then eventually, like even going to parties with friends, it's like I'll be even comfortable in that setting to just approach random people. And it's so interesting how shy I am, yet I get so fulfilled by approaching and meeting random people. I think it's just a human thing for me. And yeah, that's kind of it. That's kind of my shy extrovert Buddhist take on how to avert social anxiety, or at least decrease it at parties. I mean, these mindsets I can't even tell you how tremendously they have helped me in terms of social anxiety in settings like these. And again, yeah, it's like you can apply this all to every social situation. I mean, I could do a whole episode on dating, but it's quite similar. It's like you can't people please. You got to go in there with an open mind. Don't attach to the idea that it's going to go well or that they're going to like you. You got to just go and be yourself, and you just got to see how your energy dances together. And don't attach. Just go and witness and experience. And this mindset helps you just be in the moment. And when you're in the moment, you can't experience social anxiety, because social anxiety is future based. You're thinking about whether someone's going to like you, or in the future think negatively of you, or blah, blah, blah. This music is beautiful. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you guys next Monday, baby. All right, peace.